So I was wrong. Literally none of my predictions came true about their confrontation, nor about their falling out. The only thing I got right so far is that Vox attacked Alastor in their falling out, even though it wasn't in the way I predicted. Now, what did we learn with episode 4 of season 2? Alastor's soul belongs to Rosie, in exchange for becoming the most powerful sinner of hell. Side note, how does Rosie have that power? Alastor let himself be captured by Vox, with some kind of hidden master plan in mind apparently, with the TV demon making the deals to stay away from Charlie Morningstar. Vox and Alastor were friends at one point, but Alastor cruelly rejecting Vox after a letter proposing a business partnership with him and Valentino. It is implied that Valentino was already in the picture when Vox and Alastor knew each other. As much as I was disappointed that I didn't get the emotional confrontation I had hoped for, I still enjoyed the episode. And someone did as well. I had watched the new episodes with an acquaintance of mine who has offered to answer a few questions. Unfortunately, they had asked not to voice their answers themselves. Instead, I'd sent them the questions and will be reading the answers they had sent back out loud myself. Let's cut to the chase. Now tell me, Kura, how did you like their latest episode?
The last episode was alright. It had one or two small disappointments, but it was overall good.
Had you prior expectations to the episode before watching?
I expected that we learned more about Alastor and that we might find out if it was Lilith he had made a deal with. And that we learn how it stands between him and Vox.
What was your favorite part of the episode?
Clearly the battle and the backstory where we saw Alastor as a human.
Was there something you didn't quite like much about the episode?
I didn't like it was Rosie Alastor had made a deal with. And the fact that Charlie wouldn't think things through before acting and wouldn't listen to her friends.
Now, what do you think will happen next with both of them? Possibly in the next episodes?
Between Vox and Alastor? I hope that Alastor had a reason for his behavior towards Vox, and we will find out more in the next episodes to this. And maybe they could come to an understanding and become friends again.
All in all, it was quite the episode, igniting mixed feelings in many fans, I suppose. I'm just disappointed there was nothing more to Vox and Alastor's relationship. Or is there? See, I'm a stubborn person, and I refuse to believe that was all there is to the history of the TV and the radio demon. So, with new information being given, having heard other takes on this and details pointed out, I put together a brand new theory. If I'm again totally off the mark a second time when the new episodes come out, my loss, I guess. The first part of my theory is about Vox and Alastor's falling out. In the show, in a flashback, it is told their falling out came to be when Alastor rejected and made fun of Vox's proposal to become partners, following Vox's heartbreak and turned for the worse. But I believe that Alastor, sadistic and teasing as he might be, wasn't honest in that moment. Vox had said they knew each other for years at this point. I just can't believe that Alastor didn't see him as a friend after all this time, and if he didn't, wouldn't have spent so much time with him. So, what happened? One thing I heard was that when Vox was offering to work together, Alastor in that moment saw himself in Vox, someone who needed the help of another to gain power, and since Alastor depended on Rosie for his power, he lashed out at Vox, projecting his own insecurity onto the TV demon. I really hadn't thought about that angle and find it quite interesting. This would prove a more vulnerable side to the infamous, fear-inducing radio demon. For there is something else that came to me. We learned that it was Rosie herself who gave Alastor the order to vanish from public for several years, not something he did of his own accord. So I got the idea. What if the day of the fallout was the day he had to leave? What if he had freshly gotten the news from Rosie and was meeting up with Vox at that cafe to somehow tell him they won't be able to see each other anymore? Maybe he didn't know how to tell him without Vox asking questions. But when Vox extended him that fateful proposal, Alastor took the opportunity to cut ties with his friend, all while projecting his own insecurities onto him. Alastor didn't leave Vox because they had that fight. Alastor provoked that fight because he had to leave. I'm just down bad for such tragic happenings, angst and heartbreak. I'm sure this will appear far-fetched to some of you, but I want to point out another thing. The flashback we saw, it was only from Vox's perspective. We didn't get how Alastor had experienced that day. What happened before, how the first fight started, and what happened after. We have yet to see Alastor's emotional side to everything that is happening around him and what is going on in his head. What do you say, Kura? Was Alastor's reaction real, or was there more under the surface?
I don't think this was his honest opinion, because he always smiles we hardly can see what he feels. But because Alastor had spent so much time with Vox, it's hard to believe Alastor thinking that badly about him. Maybe Alastor had seen potential in Vox and wanted to nudge him in the right direction, that he didn't need any help. Because Adil turns yourself partly into the marionette of your opposite, so that you wouldn't end up in the same situation as Alastor.
Now regarding what will follow, perhaps now that the two are forced to live together, it could happen they get the opportunity to talk more privately with each other. For Alastor will probably try to deflect anything that could hint to anything deeper. You know, I could imagine a situation like Alastor still being tied to a chair, Vox offering to let him stretch his legs a little if he pours him a drink, Alastor reluctantly agreeing and floundering to the bar, which Vox obviously has in his penthouse. Then Vox describing how he would like his drink put together to annoy Alastor like,
"Now I want my drink with 3 shots of XY, 1 shot X.
And Alastor interrupting him like he tends to do. With 2 shots of Y, 1 shot of ZX, and an extra shot of Z. I know. Vox snapping his head in surprise.
You remember that?"
And Alastor, noticing his slip up, quickly trying to cover it up. Of course. It's not like it's the only drink you ever ordered. That would be something. An intimate moment between Vox and Alastor. But in the end, these are mere presumptions, thoughts and theories dancing in my head. Now, the next episodes will tell what becomes of them. I still root for Radiostatic. Of course it would be awesome if Radio Apple came to be. There is a certain chemistry of we love, hate each other. But I have yet to give up on Radiostatic. Share your opinion in the comments below. It has been a pleasure.